So to the first of Sunday's games then, and it's the London derby at the Emirates, Arsenal versus Chelsea. This was the first time they'd met since Chelsea delivered that mauling of 4-0 in the Europa Cup final. It's also Arteta's first home game. Socrates and Xhaka were both out, and Guendouzi came in for the Gunners. Jorginho and Hudson-Odoi were on the bench. The first half, well, for 25 minutes or so, Arsenal were bossing this game, and they looked pretty impressive. Ozil prominent, and Arsenal on the front foot. And eventually they took the lead following a cross. It was headed back across the area by Chambers, and Aubameyang's anticipation was first class, and he headed a spectacular effort past Kepa, and that was 1-0 to the Arsenal, and they were bossing it, particularly in midfield. Chelsea just didn't seem to be able to get hold of the ball. So Lampard made the decision to remove Emerson, who was playing at left back, and he put Jorginho on to strengthen the midfield, and it certainly steadied Chelsea. And as the first half moved towards its conclusion, Chelsea started to be more threatening. However, at the break it was still 1-0 the Gunners. Into the second half though, and it was a completely different story. Chelsea started to boss things. Arsenal were becoming deeper and deeper, and they were relying on some impressive work by David Luiz in defence. A few half chances for Chelsea, but nothing too substantial, and Leno hadn't had much to do. Jorginho actually was lucky to stay on the park after a really innocuous challenge looked at booking would have given him his second, and he would have been off. But he survived, and then Willian started to get more into the match, and he hit an effort that was just wide. But then on 83 minutes, a free kick from the left, and a real howler by Leno, who completely missed the ball, and Jorginho, standing behind him, couldn't believe it, and he just stuck out a leg, and it was 1-1. After that, Chelsea really upped the tempo, and it was no surprise when on 87 minutes Willian on the right flank managed to centre the ball. Abraham, with his back to goal, did a 180 and got his shot away, and it shot past Leno, and Chelsea were 2-1 up. Lampard absolutely delighted, and that's how it finished. So the final score at the Emirates was Arsenal 1, Chelsea 2. On to Anfield then. Liverpool at home to Wolves. Wolves, of course, have just come off that back of that win against Manchester City just 48 hours earlier. Not surprisingly, Nuno Espirito Santo sprung the changes. 4 on the bench that played that night. Traore, Doherty, Jimenez on the bench. For Liverpool, Lallana was in for Keita, and it was the 100th game for Van Dijk in a red shirt, 150th for Mane. Well, we got going, and it was clear that Liverpool were making all the running. Arnold, well, who else? Down that right side managed to find Salah, whose effort just went over the bar, and Van Alden also had an effort that was blasted over. 21 minutes, a beautiful through ball by Salis, a beautiful through ball found Salah, and his exquisite volley was held by Fabrizio. It was all Liverpool, and then Firmino had a header that went just wide. Mane then had a goal disallowed after an assist by Lallana. The referee disallowed it for handball. It touched Lallana on the shoulder, and when VAR looked at it, they reversed the decision, and so Liverpool were in front. On 44 minutes, a fantastic effort from Neto equalised after the ball came across the 6-yard box, but this time VAR spotted a foot offside, so the goal was chalked off. So it's still 1-0 at the break, second half, and it was really a tale of missed opportunities for Wolves. They were very impressive. Jota had a drive that Alisson held. Moutinho came on and he skied his effort over, and Saiz also blasted over. Liverpool looked steady, but Wolves very impressive, very unlucky really. But the final score at full time was Liverpool 1, Wolves 0. So their great run continues. The final game then of week 20, match day 20, was at the Etihad. Manchester City at home to Sheffield United. Sheffield United in good form. For City, Bravo was in following the red card for Edison, and Garcia made his debut. For the Blades, Wilder freshened things up. He put McBurney and Fleck on the bench, and Robertson and Mousset started up front. Goodison was injured. Early chance for Sheffield United, Mousset, and he heads wide from 5 yards. But up the other end, Mahrez was looking threatening, and he evaded his marker, but his final effort was blocked. And then Mousset got the ball in the net, but it was ruled offside by VAR. On 40 minutes again, Mousset put through, and he was looking dangerous, but his finish was poor. Sheffield had definitely edged the first half, but it was goalless at the break. After into the second half, Aguero had a sharp shot which hit the net, but this followed an incident where Sheffield in possession had passed the ball to a colleague who was obstructed by the ref, and the Sheffield player unfortunately prodded the ball straight to a Manchester City player, and there was definitely interference by the referee, but he didn't stop the play, and so the goal stood, much to Wildy's frustration on the sidelines. So City had fortuitously gone one up. They actually made sure of the points though on 82 minutes when Mahrez on the break slots the ball beautifully to De Bruyne, and his shot hits the left corner, and that was that. City had got to the finish line with a 2-0 scoreline, but it rather flattered them, and in added time actually Sharp headed against the post, and it went across the goal. Could have easily gone in the other side, but it didn't, and so final score at the Etihad was Manchester City 2, Sheffield United 0. So that's it. That's match day 20. We've got a new set of fixtures on New Year's Day. What can we make of what we saw? Well, it's as it is really. Liverpool still on top. Now they're a long way ahead of Leicester, who still remain second, a point above Manchester City. Into fourth, well, staying in fourth, Chelsea, their win, of course, increased their domination of fourth place. Man U and Spurs creeping up the table. Man U certainly up there, and Wolves, of course, the chasing pack. At the bottom, Watford another win. Norwich still at the basement. Aston Villa are down there with them, and things are looking pretty poor for them in the new year. As regards the goal of the week, De Bruyne's was certainly a special effort, and I think I did like Martial's goal against Burnley, probably because of the assist by Pereira. And so I'm going to give it to Anthony Martial for his goal. So that's it from me. We'll be back with a prediction show probably on the morning of the 1st. So have a good, happy New Year.